Now, one of the best improvements for photographers in Photoshop 2020 is the new ways to make a selection. Now, the selection tools have always been there, but they've been expanded and improved for much better results and much less trial and error. Now, let's start by taking a look at what we used to have to do to get a good selection. I mean, it was easy, but sometimes very, very inefficient. And if we come to the toolbar on the left-hand side of the workspace, we click on it, and the quick selection tool has been here for a good long while. And if you click on it, the theory was it's automatically going to choose the selection for you. And we come in, and we click on this, and we come around, hold down the Shift key, click on to add to it, click on to add to it. And, you know, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And it's working reasonably well. And that does work. So they've improved. Let's come down here at the bottom and see if we can get this worked on. And they've improved the quick selection tool very, very much. And that's a very good result. But we still had to hunt and peck, and we had to add to the selection, and it took a little bit of time. All right, so that was the old way. Now, the old way has been improved a great deal. So let's go ahead and start over, and we'll show you the other way, which was right here, the magic wand tool, and it still has not been improved enough for my purposes, but that's still not a bad result. Where we have issues is up here around the hair, and we can come in and we can correct that by clicking on the Shift key, and you can see immediately how that's not going to work, and it's trial and error, and if this doesn't work, go back. And then you've got a tolerance setting up here you can experiment with. There is no right or wrong way to do this, and you can see immediately how inefficient that is. All right, so let's take a look at a new tool up here, the Object Selection tool. And in the options bar up here, we click on the drop-down list, and we see a rectangle and lasso. So the lasso selection is exactly the way it sounds. We have a freehand way to make a selection. And we simply come around just like this, connect the dots, let go, and it makes a selection. Not bad. Not bad at all. So let's start again, show you the second option in rectangle. And as you would suspect, you're simply drawing a rectangle over the area you want selected, let go, and it automatically pops into place. Not bad. These are vast improvements over what we had before. I'm going to hit Command D, and let's go ahead over here to the Properties panel. Now, the Properties panel, I want to show you something. Let's go back to the very beginning of this image. And notice we have only the background layer shown, okay? So when you click on the Properties panel, it has the things that were there previously, okay? The width of the canvas, and you had the color mode, blah, blah, blah. All this information was on there. Now, they have added some quick actions on here. You can crop, rotate, trim, or change the image size very, very quickly in this Properties panel. But now, you don't see anything that refers to a selection. So now what you have to do is Command-J or Control-J on the PC, Command-J to make a new layer, and immediately you can see how the Properties panel changes. We scroll down and we see down here where it says Select Subject. So now all you do is open your image, create a copy layer, Properties, Select Subject, and look what happens. That's about as good as it gets. Now, what real use is this in this kind of image? Well, let's take a look and see. All right, we have the selection of the little girl against the out-of-focus background, and from a photographic standpoint, from a creativity standpoint, that's exactly what you want. You want the background out of focus, and so Photoshop recognizes that and does a real good job of isolating the in-focus items away from the out-of-focus items. But it's still not good enough, so I'm going to hit Command-J to put that selection on its own layer right up here. And so now that we have little girl on her own layer, let's go ahead and make a few adjustments on this. We'll come up to Image, Adjustments, Curves, and I want to brighten her face ever so slightly because it's just a little bit too dark, and I want to just have her stand out from the background just a little bit, all right? Now, the face looks tremendous. I'm going to go ahead and keep that adjustment. But look how the feet and the legs are kind of looking out of place. And so what we want to do is come and put on a mask. come get the paintbrush. The paintbrush is colored black, so we're going to erase from white. And I'm just going to come in and let's take this up to about 28%. And I'm going to return the luminosity level of her leg and her clothes and right in here just like this, so it doesn't look so weird. The face looks fine, but the rest of this is just a little bit out. And plus two, this helps to focus the attention on the little girl more than maybe previously. And so now we have a finished image, okay? And we come up and we go flatten image, and voila, we're all done. So this is the before and after. And you'll notice it only took us about 3 minutes. Now, you'd spend easily 15 minutes just trying to perfect the selection in the old manner of doing things. But in Photoshop 2020, making your selection is much, much easier.